Nepal, a landlocked country in South Asia, has been a favorite destination among mountaineers as well as adventurers looking for a thrill. Apart from the world's highest peak, Mount Everest being a pride of the country, Nepal has much more to offer. It was the hometown of the Budhha, habitat for several species of flora and fauna, and if that is not enough, it has many UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Here are a few facts about Nepal to make sure that you do not miss anything while you are in the country. Also, no harm in bragging about the new knowledge we have, right? 1. The ceiling of the world. Nepal has been tagged as the ceiling of the world for being home to 8 of the 10 world's highest mountains including Mount Everest, Kanchenjunga, Lhotse, Makalu, Cho Oyo, Dhaulagiri etc. A significant portion of the Himalayas is in Nepal. 2. Never been occupied. Nepal does not celebrate an Independence Day because they had never been under any foreign occupation. The nation is the oldest country in South Asia. Nepal became a federal democratic republic in 2008 after having a monarchical form of government until then. Pretty cool for a small country surrounded by the Asian giants, right? 3. Deepest, highest and largest. Housing the world's deepest lake, Shey Phoksundo, the tallest grassland, the Chitwan, the deepest gorge, Gandaki Gorge and harbors, the highest altitude lake at Lake Tilicho, Nepal has broken records for its enchanting natural beauty. Arun Valley, the uppermost valley on Earth, too is in Nepal. It is the only country with such drastic altitude variation from 59 meters to 8,848 meters. Your social media posts would have a row of pictures of these ultimate destinations if you visit Nepal. 4. A large concentration of World Heritage Sites. If you think Nepal is a tiny country famous for mountaineering, you couldn't be more wrong. The capital city, Kathmandu itself, has 7 UNESCO World Heritage Cultural Sites within a radius of 15 kilometers. It has been nicknamed as the living cultural museum of the world. Moreover, Nepal has 4 recognized World Heritage Sites by UNESCO, making it the country with the densest concentration of heritage sites. 5. Nepal's own Venice. There are ample evidence and agreement among geologists to suggest that the valley of Kathmandu was once a lake. Religion states the lake to have been divided to drain the water, thus allowing civilization to flourish. Whereas, science points out a more logical reason behind the phenomenon, that makes the valley extremely fertile and excellent for cultivation. 6. The land is still moving. Nepal is still alive and moving. The Indo-Australian plate under Nepal is supposed to travel 1,500 kilometers into Asia in the next 10 million years. 7. Nepal is Portugal turned 90 degrees. If you haven't noticed before, take a look at your atlas. Nepal resembles the map of Portugal when turned 90 degrees. Gives you something to brag about, eh? 8. The snow monster. Ever heard about the mythical creature called Yeti, an abominable snowman, usually known to be taller than an average human being? It is what you call Bigfoot in North America. What if you find out that this is not a myth at all? Yes, you heard it right. Yetis, or locally known as Mete, are said to have been spotted in the mountains of Nepal, at the off-beaten Himalayan treks. 9. Amazon of Asia. Nepal is the natural habitat to 5,980 species of flowering plants, 2% of the world's orchids and 6% of rhododendron species. The country shelters over 250 species of flora and fauna, 870 species of birds, which is roughly the world's 8%, 650 species of butterflies, and the world's most giant moth and honeybees. The Chitwan National Park is a reserve of endangered and rare animals such as Asia's one-horned rhinoceros and the Royal Bengal tiger. 10. Perfect for thrilling adventures. Feed your enthusiasm for the whole lot in your bucket list because it is one of the best countries for adventure and extreme sports tourism. Be it paragliding, whitewater rafting, kayaking, high-altitude marathons, bungee jumping, and mountain biking, or mountaineering, Nepal is the perfect place to tick off these life experiences. 11. Snow deposits. The Himalayas in Nepal are the mouths of three of the major river systems of Asia, the Ganga, the Brahmaputra and the Yamuna. The Himalayas also has the world's third-largest depository of ice and snow. 12. The Constitution that was formed in 2015. The Constitution of Nepal is considerably new as it was formulated only in 2015. 13. The non-cliched flag. Unlike the common quadrilateral flags, Nepal is the only country where the flag is of two triangles. The upper triangle has an image of the moon while the lower triangle has that of the sun, representing the two major religions of Nepal, Hinduism and Buddhism. Although the current flag was incepted in 1962, the design is said to be 2,000 years old. It is also said to represent the Himalayas. 14. The birthplace of Buddha. Well, Nepal is a peaceful country because it is the birthplace of Buddha. Siddhartha Gautama, or Lord Buddha, was born in Kapilavastu, Lumbini in 623 BC. Lumbini has been declared as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO in 1997. 15. No religious or communal riots. Would you believe that a small, landlocked country of 147,181 sq.km? Squeezed among its neighboring giants is an abode of 80 ethnic groups speaking 123 languages? Despite Hinduism being the official religion, Nepal has never faced any riots on the lines of religion or ethnicity. The Nepalese pride themselves on maintaining their peace as a nation. 16. Original inhabitants. The original rulers of Kathmandu are known to have been the Hindu Kiratis, a Mongoloid tribe. The country became predominantly Hindu when the North Indian rulers overthrew the Kiratis in 300 AD. Nepal's Dark Ages came in the 700s when the Tibetans and Kashmiris invaded the country. 17. Isolation from the world. Nepal followed a policy of isolationism from 1846 to 1950s under the Rana regime to prevent the European conquest of its territory. 18. The home of living goddess. Ever worshipped a little girl as a goddess? Yes, you heard it right. If you are in Nepal, you shall witness the living goddess. Also known as Kumari, literally meaning virgin, prepubescent girls are believed to be the earthly manifestations of divine female energy or the incarnations of goddess Talaju, otherwise known as Durga in India. They lived in temples and worshipped and driven in chariots during festivals. However, the goddesses retire on puberty or if they fall prey to illness or accidents. 19. Death is better than cowardice. Death is gratifying than cowardice is the motto of the Nepalese Gurkha soldiers who display exemplary gallantry for their country. Their dedication and skill made the British recruit them as a part of the United Kingdom's paid army in 1816, and they have been serving ever since. 20. Elephant polo. Elephant polo is known to have originated in Meghali, Nepal. The Tiger Tops in the country conducts World Elephant Polo Championship and is the elephant polo headquarters. 21. Natural porters. Sherpas are the ethnic community in the eastern part of Nepalese Himalayan mountains, who are employed as porters. They are known to be immune to the effects of altitude due to their upbringing and genetics. 22. When in Nepal, you live in the future. Nepal follows the Bikram Sambat calendar, a combination of the solar and lunar calendar. Its is calculated for 67 years, 8.5 months ahead of the Gregorian calendar, which is used almost globally, barring a few countries. The Nepali New Year is celebrated in mid-April. 23. Weekend rules. Saturday is a holiday in Nepal, while people usually work on Sundays. Fridays are more often than not a half-day. 24. 25% revenue comes from tourism. The tourism industry is quite huge in Nepal. About 25% of the revenue comes from tourism. The government donates 50% of the revenue collected from the forest areas to the inhabitants in and around the wildlife. 25. National sport is volleyball. Nepal's national game is volleyball. However, they have never won an Olympic medal. 26. Pot or not. Once named the citadel of hippies, in the 60s and 70s, Nepal had the most access to marijuana. According to Hindu mythology, Nepal is home to Lord Shiva, the destroyer of the universe. Those familiar with the myth would be well aware of his infamous tales revolving around marijuana. Hence, it is not uncommon to see natives and tourists alike to smoke pot in Nepal. Although weed has been considered a drug in the country since 1965, you can find it growing almost anywhere in the country. You do get the best quality of weed in the place. Just strike up a conversation with a local or in a bar, and you are good to go. 27. Say goodbye to internet browsing. If you hate your YouTube channel's buffering, or always rely on Google Maps, what would you do in Nepal where internet speed is below 256 kbps? Well, streaming movies on 4G or even 3G is a dream to the Nepalese. 28. PDA gets you arrested. If you are from any of the Asian countries, you may be quite familiar with this rule, but a Westerner would find it bizarre. Well, yes, you can't kiss or hug a person of the opposite gender in public, or even hold hands for that matter. But it is perfectly reasonable to keep the hands of your friends belonging to the same gender, which seems quite tolerant in a way. 29. Shortage of electricity and water. One downside of traveling to Nepal is the constant blackouts as well as lack of water. Bit of an irony, considering that Nepal is also called the abode of lakes and has many freshwater sources of water. Speaking of electricity, people on an average face power cuts up to 8 hours a day. The Nepalese are now accustomed to living this way, and in fact, adjust their schedules accordingly. What are you waiting for? Package your bags now. Please like, share and subscribe.